All right, welcome on in everyone to First CSP for another episode of the Sunday Special. In this episode, we're actually going to be updating one of our previous First CSP episodes, episode 213 for Greenwich Council. We actually received some really great information from Council Collector Rob Kutz. He's done a good job with the New England councils of not only documenting the CSP issues for those councils, but also individual production runs the councils have produced. Now, he has aligned his current information with the more recent collecting guides, so there are no variants for the first issue S1s anymore. There's no A's, no B's. However, he has detailed information on which production run, what the order was for those S1s. We have an additional first issue S1 to show you today, as well as to correct some information from our previous episode. So let's head on over to the patch table, and I'm going to be using the information that Rob has collected about the council to help give you more details here. So these are both considered S1s. The lower one here is what you saw in my original episode 213 as a first issue. Both of these would be considered first issues, and they actually are sitting in order of production runs. So this CSP at the top here, I did not previously have at the time of filming our Greenwich Council First CSP episode. We were able to go out and procure it. This is actually the first production run of the S1. And here below it, we have the second production run of the S1. There is a third production run of the S1 as well, and we'll talk about the distinction between that and these two patches a little bit more when I flip over to the back. But let's talk about some of the characteristics Rob's had found with the first issue S1 patches. One of the most notable characteristics he has found is the 6 that you'll find in the 6-7 on the left-hand side is more oval as opposed to round, whereas the S2 and S3 CSPs that were issued later have more rounded 6s. In general, the S1 can be distinguished from later runs with the dull dark yellow lettering. Also, let's take a look at the back here. The S1s kind of had this pattern where the first one almost looks the most transparent, where you can see the colors. Obviously, you can see the full witch here in green on the far side. The next one, you can see the back starts to be a little bit more white, a little bit more opaque, but you can still see the outline of the witch. If you were looking at the back of the third production run of the S1, this would look almost completely white, and you really wouldn't see these colors coming through at all. So, in my opinion, looking at the visual reference that Rob had and has produced as a PDF, I find that they kind of, over time, the S1s were getting more and more white. So there are two examples of the first issue, again with an update from our previous episode, now having the first production run example. We then did have on our original episode the example that is the S2. The S2 was computer designed and is known for its extremely dark water. You'll see, as we talked about previously now, the 6 is a more rounded 6 as opposed to oval. Here, I'll put one of the S1s next to it. You can kind of see the difference, whereas it's gotten more round as opposed to more oval on the former. What has also been fun for me is in going back and forth with Rob. His was a cloth back S2. Mine is a plastic back. You can kind of see the glare off the plastic there. So that was something that was undocumented previously. That will be added to Rob's documentation going forward, so that's pretty fun. It's always great to be able to collect and gather this information together. So that it can be passed on to future collectors, etc. So that S2 did appear in the previous episode and was labeled correctly. What was labeled incorrectly in the first CSP episode 213 was this patch. This is an example of the S3. One thing that's nice as far as being able to identify S3 variations is that they will have scout backs. So either the scout stuff back, like you see here on this example, or the BSA 2010 scout plastic backing. Those would both be examples of S3 CSP issues for Greenwich Council. So there you have it, kind of a rundown updating some of the information that we had originally presented in our episode 213. The first issue that we showed in that episode is still a first issue. They're still an S1, but now we had some more information, so we thought it would be great to do an update here for you today on the Sunday special. We'll have a few more update episodes coming out over the next few weeks, as well as some Sunday specials on just some kind of additional fun, random CSP stuff like we've been doing in the past. I hope you enjoy both formats for the Sunday special, and we hope to see you back here tomorrow for a brand new episode of First CSP, like we have every single day. With that, thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.